Like that.
The community is responsible for the healing.
The world will hear this woman sing.
Let me play my part.
Check 2, hey.
Like, is that real? Did that happen? Like,
The structure of your brain actually changes.
and do you still feel that every day?
And then it got time for guitars.
Eating disorder, like
I didn't want to die,
tendencies.
but I didn't want to live.
A helpless little girl.
You gotta go in the hospital.
You feel powerless because the body has a fear reaction.
The opportunity to empower.
No one can take away my power.
I won't take myself out.
Artists that are true like that, those are the ones that tend to
Like a sin.
create change.
Okay, some other thoughts we had in the back. Right? That's interesting.
People talk.
Yeah.
The worst part of the military I didn't like was politics and gossip.
Gossip. I never thought of the military as a gossipy place. I always picture like 12-year-old girls, right, talking about is one direction going to break up? That's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I can't speak for everybody, but I would say that anybody who is there, it's hard not to have some form of it. There's a lot of shit happened in a long period of time, and so yeah, I would say almost everybody has some form of trauma that they're dealing with or reintegration struggles that they've had. Most definitely, I think getting together, we're all still part of that. There's a certain brotherhood that's not very easy to describe, where if we ran into each other, it may have been 15 years. I got back from Iraq 13 years ago, hence all the gray hairs that are forming. But anyway, it's just interesting. You'll see somebody and be like, "Oh they're my brother." You're there for them instantly. For the most part, there's a few outlying cases where you might hate somebody, but that's okay. Outside of that, though, getting together is just there is that bond. There is a therapy in just the interaction and the talking and the listening to what's going on in one another's life. And then I've always found that shooting firearms is very therapeutic. Not that I'm advocating that's for all patients, but from a military standpoint, there is just a certain release. There's a certain, trying to hit the target or watching, when it's for fun and not for real, that I think is pretty therapeutic.
You had a question? I want to make sure some of that gets out to the final audio. So you were talking about a book recommendation called Incognito.
Not even Incognito, but Rosetta.
Rosetta.
Just Rosetta, the study of Rosetta.
The study of Rosetta. Okay, cool. And that one of the most stress relieving things a person can do is make eye contact with another person, have face-to-face community. I think that's why I'm still such values. If two people who heard something on Hate Becoming when Kelly said, sitting alone, silent in all the noise, if two people who care about that phrase, who have it resonate with them, have some kind of connection because they were in this room together for 2 hours, I'll be like, cool, I'll eat $3,000. Donate generously, kellynicole.com. But seriously, it's so true, because I think social media is not a relationship. You don't have a relationship with that person. Like you said, it's a physical interaction. I don't know if it's pheromones or what. I'll have you speak on it for a second.
Well, I don't know about the pheromones, but community, actually, we don't heal well in isolation. And I think you're right. The United States has created isolation, whereas if you go more traditional culture, the healer is backed up by the community, and the community is responsible for the healing. And so the more we can build community, the more likely we're going to have. That's what we try to do at our clinic with our clients and with our staff, because we're not going to heal well in isolation, even though that American dream tells us that, stand up, do it yourself, be independent. Yeah. Go on.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we make fun. You can answer it, but I want to take real quick. Do you guys remember the guy who's been in the news because his parents kicked him out with using the judge? So it's funny, if you look at those videos, there's a bunch of different ones. Everyone covered it. You look down through the comment section. It's very geographic. And there's people from all over the world outside the U.S. saying, why is anyone making fun of him? I lived with my parents till I was in my late 20s, early 30s. I worked jobs, I'd paid bills, different situation, right? I guess his deal was he might have been a mooch or something. But it was very cultural and geographic, the way people reacted. Americans laughed at him. You idiot, you live with your parents. And people, I'm guessing from the Mediterranean, from more traditional cultures, are like, that's his family, what's so funny? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're also finding research that intergenerational families, that they're actually, everybody's healthier. Yeah. So my daughter and grandson live with us, and the stress level has gone down tremendously in our house, even though it's a little bit stressful because she takes a long time in the bathroom. But but it's just to have that little guy every morning. You know, I'm so much happier. My husband's so much happier. I mean, I think we're better off because we can all be together. And I think the research is showing that more and more, when you have several layers living together, that actually it's healthier for everyone.
Yeah, she was just kind of saying basically about the same thing, working with kids. And even though you're doing it for your profession and you're educating yourself on how to do that for your life's work, it's still kind of a healing thing for you to have the little ones around. Awesome. Any last thoughts, comments, questions? I think we're after 6, aren't we? Any last thoughts?
We're at 6, exactly.
And I would just say that, you know, for those that are listening, that this isn't the end of it. In between now and next year, there's going to be some podcasts and, you know, other relevant materials that we're going to cover and go over. And, you know, always looking for ideas, too. So.
Yes, thank you. You're better at my job than I am. So as I've been thinking about, okay, what's this foundation going to be? What's the vision? What are we going to do? It's been hitting me like, I want to promote the album, but I want people to know there's an online store. I want them to buy the merch, but I want to have conversations with fascinating people, but I want survivors to be heard, but I want this. And I started thinking, man, there's something that checks every box. Podcast. So Amplified, the official podcast of the Kelly Nicole Foundation, will be a thing. And let's just keep this movement going. So I believe that people will hear something in Kel's voice that is healing for them. Obviously, I'm biased, but I've heard so many people say to me that her voice and her songs like Take My Pills, songs like The Blood, songs like Infected, are helping them heal. And they feel like someone somewhere, even if it's just in spirit now, understands what they're going through. My hope is that someday someone comes to me and says, I couldn't even tell my best friend about what I'd been through, but finally this album came along and I played it for them and I said, this is how it feels. This is how it feels. This is how it fucking feels. Please help me. I don't even know the first person to call, but this is how I feel. So that's my vision, and I will not stop as long as there's air in my lungs. The world will hear this woman sing.
And there's an online store.
Get the music behind the mission. Hate Becoming by Kelly Nicole on iTunes and Spotify.
If you guys haven't checked out the merch table,
join the movement.
Buy the album.
Get your Kelly Nicole band merch and donate what you can at kellynicolefoundation.org.
Courage is from Amplified!